quick and easy tips to dicing. All right, so now everybody generally at home would use the whole pepper. And we'll show you how to use the whole pepper, but a lot of people, if you're looking for like that perfect little dice that everybody, you know, all the restaurant chefs do. Here you go. This is what you do. We halved it. We took off the two ends, took out the interior, and then you flip it over. You squeeze it down, and it's almost like you've got a nice little sheet of paper to cut. You notice I always talk about the cook's claw. Sorry, Bob. Thumb tucked behind, 4 fingers tucked underneath. All right, it's awkward at first, but practice it all the time.
You wind up keeping all your.
And that way, yeah. See, I prove it to you. Everything all matches, all 10 of them. It is awkward at first, but it's a great habit to get into. Also, as you'll notice when I slice, I actually use this middle finger as a guide. You notice how a chef knife is designed to be used, that smooth, almost locomotion. If you think of an old locomotive drive, that's the motion. The other thing you should never do with the knife, and I see lots of TV chefs do it, but gathering, I'll show you with the back of the knife, gathering ingredients with the knife is probably one of the worst things you can do with the knife.
Why is that?
Well, if you think of, the way I explain it is, a knife's edge is a microscopic edge. And so a sharp knife is a very thin knife's edge. And if you think of it, every time you chop, dice, whatever you're doing with a knife, it puts a little microscopic bend into that edge. Or it takes a little microscopic chip out of it. So you can imagine what running it across the cutting board will do to that microscopic edge. Bench scraper, or even use the back of the knife too. Or I'm in the habit of just using my hand. All right, I'll show you how to dice an onion. This is how the pros do it, okay? Cut off either end. And everybody asks me, how do you keep from crying?
You don't.
You don't. The pros, we do it as fast as we can. That's how we keep from crying. Do it as quickly as we can. We don't light a candle. We don't do it in front of an open window. We don't run water over it. We don't have goggles for it. We suck it up and we do it. Okay, Bob, come on down.
I'm down.
So we've got it cut in half. We've peeled it. Now, depending on the size of dice we want, obviously, when we're cooking, we want cooking similar items in the similar pot, we want similar dice size. That way everything cooks at the same time. So we go down with the knife, not all the way through, okay? Once again, down through the onion, not all the way through. Now once again, depending on dice size, we're gonna start. Notice I am not cutting all the way through the onion. I'm leaving a small amount still attached at the back. Okay, spin it around. Now the beauty is we still have one fully intact onion. Now between those slices I just made from the opposite direction, I'll make very small slices in between those slices. So now the onion is still completely intact, all right? And then right down through.
Abracadabra.
Abracadabra. Nothing up my sleeves. So what we're going to do is we're going to get these started in a small pot with just a little bit of olive oil. Everybody asks me about olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, yada yada yada. I don't think it's necessary to use extra virgin olive oil for an application like this. I think just regular pure olive oil is fine. If you've ever tasted really good extra virgin olive oil, it has a pungency, a smokiness, a real olive flavor to it. And sometimes, depending on what you're cooking, that's not necessarily what you want. you know,
What about using
Plus it
butter?
burns quicker.
it burns quicker. Yeah.
What
Well-
about just using butter?
Well, we use in the restaurant, we use what's called clarified butter, which is when you take butter and you cook it down. If you've ever taken butter and cooked it for your lobster dinner or whatever, you'll notice there's a little white foam at the top, and then as you stir it, there's a little liquid at the bottom. And what it does, when you clarify butter, you cook that butter. That white skim on the top are the the milk solids, and everything at the bottom is the water content and the salt. And that is when you put butter into a hot pan and you see it sizzle, that's what's burning. There's the milk solids are burning, the salt's burning, the water's evaporating quickly. When you clarify butter, you take all those impurities out of it. So you're basically left with a butter flavored oil. And that's what we use in the restaurant. For two reasons, really. One, much higher burn temperature. You don't have to worry about, throwing a pat of butter into a hot pan and it's sizzling away, burning up. The second is that there's a nice underlying butter flavor to it. So you get that richness of the butter flavor without necessarily having all the fat and salt that goes along with butter. One way you can get the same effect at home. I'm not so much concerned about it here, but when you're sauteing, I was going to show you when we do the turkey cutlets, you can get the same effect when you do olive oil and a little bit of butter together. You still have to watch the burn temperature, but it will.
Mix olive oil and canola or grapeseed oil.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so we're going to let these saute up. We're going to keep an eye on them. We're going to add our quinoa and our stock. Basically, it's 1 part quinoa to 2 parts stock. So we're going to saute these up, let the onions become translucent, and then we're going to go from there. We're going to add our stock and so on. We're going to make our Brussels sprouts. I'm going to just show you quick prep some of the Brussels sprouts, and then we'll cut away, and I'll finish prepping all the other Brussels sprouts. But we're going to do a little garlic. Bob, I know you're real.
Garlic.
Bob always presses for the garlic, and I'm finally using it. He's very excited. So we're just going to take a couple bowls of garlic, and my preference on garlic